After a while, the trio gets home. The girl immediately informs her father that Luo Chen has returned. The man comes out to the guy and greets him, noting that he has become taller. The brunette is also happy to meet, although he does not show it, but the woman does not let them talk. She demands to stop talking in vain. The woman urges her husband to hurry up and cook something, because he is like a woman in this apron all day. The man doesn't know what to say to that, and Luo Chen puts a hand on his back, pushing him forward and telling him that he will help. While the man starts cooking, the woman decides to scold my daughter. She encourages Zai Amen to raise her standards for the opposite sex. She demands it because she believes that she herself has married a man who is good for nothing. The woman draws a parallel with Luo Chen, who, as soon as he returned, immediately went to the kitchen. It seems to her that he will be just as useless as her father. It hurts a little, but she's used to it. In addition, she is saved from answering the doorbell. Zai Amen goes to open the door, wondering who could have come at such a time. The guest turns out to be a young man in formal clothes and black glasses. He is happy that he found Zai Amen at home. The unknown person immediately asks why she did not answer the phone. It looks like a formal question, but then he says he's got a date at the movie theater, so they can go now. Zai Amen is shocked that this person showed up at such an inopportune moment. The girl tries to nervously close the door and gently kick the guy out, saying that she will have to refuse his offer because she is very busy today. The guest gets stuck in the doorway, asking to wait 1 minute. My mother intervenes in the case, who opens the door for little Chen. She is amazed that he has come, so she immediately asks what brings him here, and immediately after that, she suggests that he go inside so as not to stand on the threshold. Zai Amen tries to do something to stop her mother, whispering in her ear that they already have Luo Chen at home. Little Chen hands the gift to the woman. This is a perfume set that a friend brought him from France. The guy is always ready to bring such sets if she likes it. My mother claims that she likes it, although she is ready to accept anything if it is from him. Abruptly, little Chen's gaze becomes irritable. The two guys lock eyes. Luo Chen is completely calm, but the guest is very annoyed by the arrival of another guy next to the girl. The latter nervously asks who is standing in front of him. In his mind's eye, he's struck by the guy's strong aura. The mother claims that this is a friend of Zai Amen's from college. According to her, their fathers are friends, and the hero himself came to Tongju from the village to find a job. Little Chen exhales calmly, starting to think of the guy as an ordinary unemployed loser. He holds out his hand, wanting to meet him, but the hero looks back at Uncle Zhang, who asked him for help. Luo Chen immediately says that she'll help him now. Even Zai Amen resents this kind of ignoring of the guest, so she hints to the guy that they are actually talking to him. Little Chen is shaking with suppressed anger, because he knows very well that he is being forced to lose face in front of everyone. The hero goes to help the man without speaking to the guest. Then the rich man notices an important detail that if he wants to succeed in Tongju, then he should start by finding friends so they can help each other. Noticing that the other person has stopped, he corrects his words, saying that even though Tongju City is quite large, he will help him if he suddenly has any problems. All of this little Chen says with a carefree smile to get his face back in front of the others. Luo Chen notes that this is his promise. The guy understands that he was outplayed, so he turns to the girl. He believes that the hero should get a job in his company, because currently things are going well, although they just do not have enough employees. Zai Amen doesn't know what's on. This is the reason why my mother intervenes in the conversation. She is amazed that the guy has already started a company at such a young age, and still works as a teacher at an elite school, while taking care of her daughter in every possible way. The woman then turns to Luo Chen, saying that he has a lot to learn from little Chen. A grin appears on the hero's face at these words. Energy passes through his hand without anyone noticing. Everyone sits down at the table, but the girl notices the strange behavior of her boyfriend, who goes somewhere. Luo Chen hides in the room while the rich man grins, thinking that the trash left so quickly because he couldn't keep his face anymore. At this time, a strange scarlet energy passes through the guy's collar, which the hero released before. Chapter 1-6. The hero goes outside. He takes out a cigarette and lights it with a lighter. Zai Amen goes after him. What she's trying to say is that this is all a misunderstanding and that she and Chen Ko are just good friends. The guy only gives a short answer of consent. There's a look of indifference on his face that strikes her as odd. She notices in her mind that Luo Chen doesn't usually talk to her like this. A representative of the fair sex decides to lay out the whole situation on him. She emphasizes that she perfectly understands the sincerity of her boyfriend's feelings. But in their world this is not enough. It turns out that Chen's father Ko is a deputy chief executive of Tongju, who is also a major shareholder in the listed company. Zai Amen admits that he doesn't expect the same heights from the other person, but he should be able to at least buy a house in Tongju so that they can have a place to stay with the whole family. A representative of the fair sex abruptly snuggles up to the hero's hand. It turns out that she was encouraged by her mother, who told her that if Luo Chen sold his father's factory for $300,000, he would have enough money for a mortgage loan for the house. Looking at the girl, Luo Chen remembers what will happen in this scenario. He had signed a commercial lease agreement with Zhang Xiaoman. He was so in love with her that he was willing to do something like that back then. But when he got home, he found his girlfriend with little Chen. He was severely beaten, and then he realized that the girl had deceived him, and he was a fool who had spent all the money that his father had saved all his life. Xiaoman's voice snaps him out of his memories. The girl invites the interlocutor to discuss this event with his father. The brunette also notices that they have nowhere to hurry, so he thinks that they should wait a little longer. With that, he pulls his hand out of the girl's grasp. Meanwhile, the girl's mother is very angry that Luo Chen has no manners because he ran away before eating, and her daughter followed him. Little Chen tries to calm the woman down. He invites her to look at his gift so that she can smell the perfume. He gives her his word that she will definitely like them. His mother immediately begins to praise him, considering him kind, generous, and with a very meticulous way of thinking. She also scolds Luo Chen's gift for only giving her 2 tea bags. The rich man only agrees to this, calling the hero a very stingy person since he gave only some 2 bags. Then something dawns on little Chen. His stomach starts to rumble sharply. The woman had already taken out a bottle of perfume. Noting that she had never used a high-end perfume in her life, she points out that if her friends saw them, they would probably die of envy. The guy is twisting so hard that he can't hold back anymore. Mom inhales the perfume, wanting to savor it, but instead he can smell the stink of little Chen's fart. The woman vomits right on the floor, then loses consciousness. Xiaoman notices strange noises coming from the next room. She assumes that something must have happened, because they were walking out of the kitchen. The door opens and a rich man enters the room, who reeks of a terrible stench. The girl covers her mouth and nose with her hands. She doesn't understand what that awful smell is or why it stinks so much, but she hurries to leave. Leave the room, because I'm ready to empty right now. The hero also asks with a grin how the victim's own smell is, because even a rotten egg stinks less than it does now. Little Chen realizes that it's all the fault of his rival in Xiaoman heart. He wants to say something, but his whole body is shaking. He somehow restrains the urges of his body. The rich man begins to go to the hero, but the latter forces the pebble to come out of the asphalt, which is why the victim falls to the floor, starting to vomit. Little Chen gets the impression that someone has cursed him. Realizing that in the current state he gets nowhere, the rich man flees from the place of his shame, and Luo Chen only notes that this is a small percentage of what the guy owes him. After a while, the hero is going to leave the house to go to the hotel. Xiaoman wants to give him a ride to the hotel, since it's only his first day here, and they can also discuss buying a house on the way. Her mother spoils everything. She is still in a bad way, so she encourages her daughter to take care of her, because she is in a terrible state. The girl tries to stop this conversation, but the brunette only finds an excuse under which he can go himself. She wants to object, but she doesn't have any arguments. Outside, Luo Chen receives a message. A student writes to him and wants to know where he is now. She also informs him that his grandfather has already booked a hotel for him, and she will pick him up right now. Chapter 1-7. The hero walks through the crowded streets of the city at night. He is stopped by a man smoking a cigarette. He immediately notices that the guy is a stranger, so he offers to drop him off. Luo Chen says that he is not interested, but the man stands his ground, noting that it is difficult to find a taxi at such a time, and his original fare is 20, almost like a taxi driver. As he does so, he puts a friendly hand on the brunette's shoulder. The hero throws off the taxi driver's hand from his shoulder, repeating his refusal in a more rude form. The man spits on the asphalt, calling Luo Chen a beggar. Then an expensive car pulls up to him, in which a beautiful girl is sitting. This is Shuinger. He apologizes for being late. The hero says it's okay and just gets in the car. The taxi driver begins to seethe with anger, calling the boy a show-off. The girl clarifies whether to teach that person a lesson, but the brunette assures that this is not necessary, because he has more serious problems, so they do not need to interfere. The taxi driver lights another cigarette, swearing at the fucking rich. At that moment, a hand falls on his back. A beautiful girl with pink hair and purple eyes can make any man fall in love with her. She wants a taxi driver to give her a ride. He agrees nervously, drooling. Shuinger, on the other hand, looks closely at the driver, not understanding who he is talking to, because there is definitely no one next to him. The hero also reports that the man will soon die. This causes a stupor in the student. At the same time, a taxi driver goes to Panlong Bay under the guidance of a girl who changes her face. Luo Chen says that this is a big world and there are many things in it that are difficult for an ordinary person to understand. But one day, she will be able to see them for herself. Shuinger listens carefully and doesn't interrupt the teacher. After a while, they find themselves at the Tongju Grand Hotel. The hero appears on the couch in the lobby. The girl puts on the table a key card from the presidential suite with a 1-month rental period. as well as keys and a contract for the car they arrived in. She happily asks the teacher to take a look at it. Luo Chen picks up the documents and starts studying them. One of them is a pledge of shares, so he immediately specifies whether they want to give him the company. The girl says that the Yi family has a lot of property in Tongzhou. Although this company is not big, but its profit is excellent. Her grandfather said it was her tuition fee, so the guy shouldn't say no. Luo Chen reads the document on Tongzhou media carefully. He remembers that Zhang Xiaoman works for this company. The brunette realizes that the Yi family has prepared well before giving him gifts. Realizing that this is a good opportunity, the hero decides to accept this gift. Shuinger is happy that she managed to please the teacher. After that, he doesn't want to interfere with his master's rest anymore. She runs away, saying that if he needs anything, he can call at any time. Luo Chen goes in search of his phone number. After a while, he comes to number 7007. Voices are coming from inside and the girl asks Director Wang to stop because she can't do it. The hero puts the keycard to the door, intending to enter. Inside, a plump man is unbuckling his belt. He claims that no one has it forcing him because he's slept with more than 10 others like her, so she shouldn't be making a circus out of it. A beautiful girl with blue eyes and long hair of this color tries to say that the termination of contracts with all groups will not lead to anything good, but the interlocutor does not care. Then the representative of the fair sex with tears in her eyes says that under no circumstances will she obey him. Then the man admits that he really underestimated the girl's pride. He's only asking for your company today as a sign of respect. The man notices that there is a huge queue of people waiting to meet him. But before he can finish speaking, the door opens and Luo Chen walks in. Chapter 1-8. Director Wang immediately lashes out rudely at the intruder with questions. He doesn't believe that anyone would dare to ruin his good mood. He zips up his fly and pretentiously looks into the boy's eyes, wanting to know who he is and who let him in here. The brunette calmly passes by, sits down in a chair and takes out a cigarette. The man is amazed by the boy's courage. He doesn't try to figure out what's going on, just hints that he's a big shot. Director Wang gives the hero one last chance to leave, otherwise his people will cripple him and throw him in the trash. The girl assumes that the guy is deaf, so in sign language asks him to run faster. Luo Chen brazenly lights a cigarette, blowing smoke right in the face of the enraged rich man. A representative of the fair sex is perplexed by what is happening. The man becomes enraged. He believes that the boy really wants to die, so he is ready to help him in this. Director Wang grabs the bottle by the neck, intending to stab the guest. The girl intervenes. She grabs the boss's arm, forcing him to let go of the bottle, which shatters on the floor. She's begging the guy to get out of here faster. The man throws the beauty away from him. She hits her head on the nightstand and loses consciousness. At the same time, he calls her a nasty creature. The hero abruptly finds himself in front of a rich man. He lifts it off the floor with one hand, holding it only by the front of his shirt. Director Wang nervously demands that he let him go. Otherwise, he will be crippled for the rest of his life. This doesn't affect Luo Chen in the slightest. It releases its sinister aura, causing the man to shake in fear. The man understands that the case smells fried, so he continues to threaten the guy, saying that if he dares to do anything to him, he will be dead tomorrow. This doesn't stop the hero, who burns Director Wang's body with his power in the next instant, noting that tomorrow will never come for him. In Luo Chen's mind, he notes that fortunately, he can control his power, otherwise the entire room would be burned to the ground. The brunette pays attention to the unconscious girl, realizing that all this is very troublesome. The girl wakes up in the bathroom with her clothes on. The hero at this time smokes at the door. A representative of the fair sex sharply shouts from a lack of understanding of the situation, and the guy demands that she be silent. When she hears the guy's voice and sees him, she immediately tries to figure out what he's doing here and what's wrong with Wang Fu. The brunette says that this does not concern her, so when the drug ends, she will immediately leave this place. This causes even more bewilderment in the interlocutor because she does not know. See, what kind of drug we are talking about? Luo Chen says that she is under the influence of a certain drug, the effect of which will disappear in about 15 minutes. This causes the girl to start shaking with fear. Noticing the strange reaction of the interlocutor, the hero notes that he will not repeat it twice. The girl burns with shame, mentally horrified by this attitude to herself. Chapter 1-9. The girl comes out of the shower, covering her body only with a towel. She looks at the chair where her rescuer is sitting. It's hard for her to believe that this guy could handle Wang Fu, since he looks like an ordinary student. She wonders what methods he used. Luo Chen also reports that the girl's time is up. She remembers what he said about the drug, and then she notices that it was so good in the shower that she completely forgot about it. She says it's late and her clothes are in tatters. A representative of the fair sex thinks that he is not, so he was too cruel to send her away. And in general, when you see such a beautiful girl like her, basically everyone starts shouting and jumping for joy. Then she realizes that she wants to stay here, but the fear that the guy will start harassing her stops her. The girl turns her head nervously in different directions, trying to push such thoughts away. She comes to the conclusion that she needs to find clothes immediately, so she wants to borrow the guy's phone to call her assistant. The hero also wants the girl to lock herself in another room before that, so that they do not interfere with each other. This behavior causes her confusion. The hero throws her his phone, emphasizing that he does not like to tell her twice. The girl is surprised that the other person didn't even look at her. She realizes that he has an amazing character, as well as a strength of spirit that is very difficult to resist. She thinks that it is innate, because this aura is not inferior to the aura of great figures, but representative of the fair sex dials the number of the assistant, wanting to call him right in front of the guy, but he asks her not to disturb him. She notices this ugly attitude, and then goes into the next room, saying good night. In Luo Chen's hands, a new image appears, a wooden box that he received as a gift on the train. When he opens it, he only notices that there was indeed a seed hidden in it. The dark-haired man realizes that because of Emperor Jin's response, he can't miss this opportunity today. These seeds are the imprints of souls left after the end of the last era. They are very rare. For some people, even the lowest quality goods are enough to awaken the divine spirit. What can we say about this seed, which has supernatural powers? If it can be refined, it will not only be possible to awaken the divine spirit, but also to obtain the eye of heaven. Currently, he has completely lost his cultivation, so he can rely on the remnants of Emperor Wukizin's strength, so he can use the power of a martial artist. But it won't last forever, because there will come a day when his strength will run out.